Tinkerbell supposedly represented J.M. Barrie's wife, actress, I forget her name. But yes, she was barren. She never had any kids with him. But nobody did. I mean, nobody. I don't think he ever sired any actual children in or out of wedlock. Happy 50th birthday. 50th anniversary, Cristin Joyce Keleher, who had whales in her eyes.
I made the mistake of putting her concern for George Harrison's well-being over any concern over her own personal safety. She used to call her mother every day. Every single day she would call her mother. And she wasn't a drifter. She performed at different bars and different places for money. She had a car, I think a Jeep, I'm not sure. It was quite a big car. There is a Scorpio tendency to play martyr, to just like, I'm thinking ishq mein fana hona, that kind of thing, but I'm not even sure if there was any erotic attraction on her part. I mean, I think, well, since she had a Pisces moon and he had a Pisces sun, I think her feelings for him were probably more maternal than, carnal or anything. I mean, I think she felt like a protective mother to to a man significantly older than her, but I think he did elicit her maternal instinct. As a funny coincidence, Joy, as she liked to call herself, personified the very altruistic concern, kindness for another person.
Nadia, would you consider wearing a two-piece bikini without a sarong?
Sure, if I have the Mary Richardson Kennedy abs for it. I mean, he said that I'm going to punch his abs to develop his as well as mine.
So what I'm seeing is him standing next to this blonde woman who kind of looks like you, but she lacks your, va-va-voom factor or something. And maybe it's because she's blonde, but I don't think it's you.
Maybe he's in a film with an actress, because I don't know. I mean, I don't think he would be okay with me wearing a bikini, as in just a bikini without a sarong, like a string bikini. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. So I don't think he'd be okay with that, because just a few minutes ago he yelled,
"Throw on a burqa, woman,"
after deciding that we both prefer being behind the camera over in front of it. And
better do something creative quick. Look, Nadia, you're sex, and sex can't survive the white-collar workplace. No, it's got nothing to do with being a woman. Brad Pitt is not a woman. He's still sex.
And when I objected, he extrapolated that to
you can join and deal with the
exact
same unwanted sexual advances that you've endured ever since you were a little girl.
According to Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the Dalai Lama, and Douglas Abrams, one of the major conduits to achieving joy is by giving joy to others, or being kind to another, or even, putting other people's joy before yours. And funnily enough, Joy, as she liked to call herself, personified that principle, where she literally, she had a bad feeling, she may have had a bad dream, I don't know exactly what she had exactly, but yeah, she was really, really concerned for George Harrison's well-being. And as we know now, as we knew like after her arrest, that she went to George Harrison's estate in Maui just 1 week before he was stabbed by an intruder in the UK.
Amen. Let the uneducated learn, and the educated take pleasure in their memoirs. Happy 175th anniversary. Inductee discount is our motto. Inductee discount is our rule. Inductee discount now and always. And I always sing descant. Yeah, it's just like decanter, descant. Ugh. Is that he and his shadow, when brought near each other, would join like drops of water. And when they did not, he was appalled.
This reminds me, DFCM taught me, Cambridge-educated DFCM taught me O-level biology in 11th grade, and
Autism is different in
yeah,
girls,
so she used the
and I found
Socratic
that
method,
I have
and
two
that basically involved that
very
for every
distinctly
class,
autistic qualities that
the session would
you know, I'm
start
good
with
at
like half
math,
the session, half the first session
but not
of
in
every
the
class
you know not
would
in
be
the
her
I
giving
don't
us a
always get
lecture,
the highest
and
marks, but
the other
I mean, I
half would be a
sometimes
Q&A
get the highest
session. You know,
marks.
one could be asked any question on the part of the course that was already covered, impromptu. Question over on the part of the course that we covered in all our classes, not just that one. Classes, half. Yeah, sure. So anyway, so she asked me a question on joints, different kinds of joints, the difference between a shoulder joint and an elbow joint, and I started answering the question, and I was just like, so the elbow joint is, you know, is like the shoulder joint is a universal, you know, ball and socket joint, which allows universal movement. Like you can spin your arm around with your shoulder, and whereas the elbow joint just goes up and down, you know, it's not so it's like a lever, but I didn't say lever, I said lever. And she's like, lever, darling, lever, like Lever Brothers, Unilever. I was saying, it's like a pivot, it's like a lever, it just goes up and down, and she's like, lever, darling, lever. I don't know, I just think it's so funny. But God, yeah, she was very sarcastic, like off, everyone was just like slumped in their chairs and just like head down, crossed arms, that kind of thing. And yeah, and she's like, oh, darling, is that yoga position number 42? Is that what it is? If someone wasn't paying attention in class, she would be like, are you falling in love, dear? I mean, I would like it if you fell in love with me, because I'm the one giving the lecture. We never got to see the Manhattan skyline from the roof of the Standard Hotel because I had taken out my British passport after the whole fiasco on July 21st, At UConn, Dr. Naomi ordered Dr. Knapp to prep the patient so she could do a physical exam on her to, you know, determine whether she has scleroderma. Poor no man had to face this patient who was like, I ain't taking my clothes off. Dream a little dream of me. Ba-da-da-da-da. Stars fading, but I linger on you. Still craving this bliss. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Singing the while I'm alone. Sweet dreams and sunbeams fine. Dream a little dream. Sweet dreams will leave you. My memories far behind you, and in your dreams, whatever they be. Dream a little dream of me. I always miss the part where Sharif dies. Like, I don't know when Sharif from Harvard dies and Gravity. Oktoberfest is over and we don't have Oktoberfest here. I forgot what day it is. Oh, it's Monday. It's Monday. It's Monday night. Monday night. October something. October 15th? 14th? 15th October, yeah. Yeah, it's 15th of October. So it's almost prayer time, and I'm just like, I'm on the job. Yeah, big name Bob ain't never had a friend like me. Andy, I wanna get to know you. I wanna see you. I think I do. I'm just like you. Andy, I wanna meet your mama. I wanna meet your papa. But I can't. It's me. I am the problem. It's me. I read about Cristin Joyce Keleher's adventure, and she was less than a month over 27. I mean, it was just like soon after her birthday in December. A couple of years ago, actually, many years ago, not a whole decade ago, but almost, and so I don't really remember exactly what happened, but what I do remember reading about is that you know, it wasn't elaborated on what she had with George Harrison. It was just a psychic experience, and she had to warn him, and that's the reason why she had to go to the estate in Maui, because she went to Olivia, George Harrison's wife's brother,
right? So she went to her brother to ask about where he lives because, you know, she
Joy
needed to
drove
protect him
to
from
a
something.
kitchen with a sliding door.
And it's
and
like if
she
she was
tripped
romantically
a silent
interested
alarm
in him or anything, why would
inadvertently,
she
not
go to
realizing
his
it.
wife's?
And she grabbed a frozen pizza and, you know, heated it up, cooked it. She called her mother just to inform her mother that she was okay. And then soon after, she was arrested, which is just absurd. You know, it's like, what's the charge? And it's like, oh, breaking and entering. Well, she went in through a sliding door. She didn't, you know, she wasn't picking a lock or anything. She just went in through a sliding door. She seemed familiar with the estate. Like, how did she know where to drive to? How did she know which kitchen to drive to? How did she get on the estate in the first place? You know, nobody stopped her. Nothing happened. And then once she's there, they arrest her, and then she's in jail for 4 months. That's insane, I think. To me, if that's insane, that goes to show that's evidence of police brutality to me. After taking a closer look at George Harrison's lifestyle, I mean, John Lennon called him the
especially
protagonist
after
in the
considering
nursery rhyme, Georgie
how
Porgy, you know,
Kesha
Georgie Porgy pudding and pie
gave
kissed the girls
her
and made them cry
a
when
demo
the boys
tape
came out
to
to play.
Prince
Georgie Porgy
by
ran away.
and how, you know, George used to posit himself as some kind of Hindu guru and often, you know, had orgies and chanting sessions with random people and you know, and he had no problem with young pretty girls just like sauntering onto his estates and places where he lived. I mean, he just, you know, it was an open house to young pretty girls. I mean, it wasn't like, oh God, you know, this evil intruder came along, because it wasn't like
I
the
like
guy
to
who
compare
stabbed
and contrast
them as Dido versus
Oddly
Stan
enough,
in
the
that,
fellow who stabbed him
Thank You, that
got away
song,
with it.
Thank
He wasn't
You,
locked up for 4 months
collaboration
in jail. He
between,
wasn't locked up in
Eminem
jail at
and
all. He was
Dido.
just, you know, he was straitjacketed. He was treated like, oh, well, the poor guy, he's delusional, he's schizophrenic, he can't help himself. So no wonder he just, you know, squatted on your residence and tried to kill you. And then there's the plight of Sarah E. and Gabby P. And it's just like, once you're arrested, you can't even resist arrest. You can't even say anything because you've been read your Miranda rights. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. I want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life. Door just to be with you. Lewinsky in Impeachment was depicted as being lucky in terms of having a family friend that is not just an attorney but someone involved and invested in her care, and you know, in telling off the authorities and telling them that they have no right to legally arrest this woman. Rather make her talk, because yeah, so that's the point of the Miranda rights. You get a lawyer and you don't have to explain anything. But the thing is that, you know, with Sarah E., I mean, that police officer arrested her, kidnapped her, and, you know, and it's really sad and disgusting what he did to her. He used his authority wrongly. He abused his authority, as often, there's so many cases of police brutality against women of color in the US and the UK. I mean, it's just like, yeah. Really sad about Aaron Carter's death on the 5th of November, 2022. It's just gruesome. I mean, he tried to out all these people. He tried to, you know, practice moral courage.